This frame looks a little bit better. We can see it's not super wonky, but you can see on this side, it is, and it just fell. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get geared up. And while I do, I have a couple of things that I want to talk about because I f***ed up. And I feel like that's gonna be the kind of, or common theme in doing this. I'll kind of explain how I fucked up in a moment. But something somebody pointed out to me in the comments is that there's prongs on this, so I can actually get more air. So thank you for that, by the way. The good thing that I can see right now is that I see there's bees at the very entrance coming in and out and flying out. So like this is perfect. This is like perfect weather that they're starting to get out. It is still a little cold, so I want to move a little bit quicker when I'm in there because the baby brood, you don't want it to be too cool, and this is like the first day that like it hasn't been raining, so I can actually go ahead and inspect them properly. So I'm gonna move kind of quick because I do want to make sure that I don't fuck up the babies, basically. The other thing, and the reason why I fucked up, is that the top box I should not have put on. The reason being is that that top box is for like extra honey if they have like a surplus. So what I should have done is not put that top box on, just left the box for them to make the foundation for the the babies that they're making. Get like all the honey and the brood and everything set up down there, and then add the extra once they're running out of room. I kind of fucked up, and I think that that's gonna kind of slow down them getting the brood and everything set up. We'll kind of see how that goes. Now that we're all set up, it's time to gear up and get in there. Alright, we got some smoke. I'm gonna go ahead and smoke them, and then I'll get you guys a better angle. All right, so we're all set up now, and you can see that they're coming in and out of the entrance. I'm just gonna go ahead and start smoking the entrance a bit. Now, I probably smoke more than I need to in most cases, but I just want to make sure everyone's all chill. I'm gonna go ahead, let's take the top off. Remember, we have sugar water in here. This is that extra box I added by accident, that they're doing extra honey. We'll go ahead and just take a look at a couple of frames. But I mainly want to check in here and make sure that the honeycomb is all set up and the eggs are being laid. That way letting me know that the queen is actually alive and well. So we're gonna start by taking the top off. We'll see if there's any sugar water left. We'll go ahead and take this box off. That can I could probably get rid of, and it does look like we are out of sugar water. I'm gonna go ahead and just smoke the hole up here. This can is very dry, so we'll take this can out of here. And yeah, we are very low on sugar water. There's almost nothing in either of these. It's a very good thing that I stopped by today. We're gonna have to refill those again because it's gonna be a little rainy. So we want to make sure that they have enough sugar to last them. That's probably why a lot of them are out here foraging too. I came out about midday, which is a good time to come out because they're going to be going out and foraging around this time. Now this is the additional super where they would put that extra honey. And just kind of looking over top, they really don't have a whole lot of honeycomb built out yet. And I'll go ahead and I'll pull out a frame. I still don't want to necessarily take this out just because they have gotten started. I'm just going to go ahead and just pull the one frame out that I see that they have a decent amount on. I'm going to move slow. And you can see here, they do have a nice comb foundation already built out. And you can see it's a little shiny in there. So there's a little bit of nectar. So they are starting to put stuff out here. I'm probably gonna leave it again. There's not a lot that's getting done up here, but I feel like because they have started, it's not too bad. Maybe it's a good sign, and that they know that they're supposed to be working on the bottom ones, that's why it's not too busy. There's only, if I'm gonna be honest, looking here, maybe 2 frames are starting to look built out like that. So yeah, it's not a whole lot. So we'll go ahead and we'll take that top box off, and we'll kind of look at the boxes down below. See, they're starting to get a little irritated now. They're kind of circling around the front. I'm gonna move slow and make sure I just move this box out the way. And then we'll go ahead and smoke the other section. So this is that queen excluder. I think in my first video I didn't show me putting this. I ended up finding it shortly after, so I did put the queen excluder as to not have the queen show up on that top box. Again, that top box is just going to be where the excess or surplus of honey will be. This bottom box is where I want the queen, so that way she could just lay her eggs. And I can always move this and add boxes below later. But for right now, I'm just going to have the queen excluder on this bottom box because we don't have a whole lot of extra space. I'm just going to move this to the other box area, which is off camera. Now looking overhead, a lot of bees in here. They are kind of pushed to the further side, so I might shift some of those frames around to the center, just so that way we can kind of have them dispersed a little bit. But again, our main goal here today is going to be looking for that queen. Now, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but they are kind of moving pretty all over the place, to say the least. And I'm curious to see if there is a queen, because sometimes if there isn't a queen, they'll start swarming and they'll get agitated, and that's not very good. I'm gonna take out the frame that's closest to me, probably because there's not gonna be anything on it. You can see it's a little shiny, but aside from that, no, there's nothing. And I'm gonna take this one out just so I can have a little bit more room to work with these other frames. See, there's a couple of bees on these. I'm just gonna move them down. And those frames over there, about 4 frames, is where I see a lot of honeycomb. I do want to see if I can get the queen. The other thing I'm doing is one, I want to make sure that there's eggs inside of the cells, and the hexagon cells, so that way I know that she's alive. And additionally, I'm going to end up marking her, so it's a little bit easier because I'm a bit of a rookie at this. So I'm going to move slow. We'll pull these away. It looks like they kind of made a little bit of wonky comb. Which they were spaced properly. I'm not too sure how they were able to do that, but you can see they have the 2 frames kind of melded together, and they were spaced properly, so I'm not sure why they did that. It's not ideal, but we'll go ahead and pull them apart, I guess, and kind of see what's going on. Grab it and see here. Yeah, we can see that it's kind of raised off the frame, so that's not ideal. Looking inside of the cells, I do not see any eggs. I see a little bit of honey and nectar. I'll try and show you here, if it'll focus. Right around here, you can see that there's a little bit of a... Oh, and I can see the queen, which is nice. But I'm not sure why she's not laying eggs. Let me see if I can spot her again for you. She's right here. She's that longer butt. So it's good. We know the queen's alive. Not sure why she's not laying eggs. You can see there's a different color of the nectar in here. It's like a purple color. So we know she's here. We found her. That's quick and easy. Just a little concerned that not everything's filled out. And it could just be because maybe the rain, that, you know, they're not really going out and foraging and getting a lot of, you know, nectar, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, since she's on this frame, I'll look and see if there's any eggs, but I don't see any. Maybe on the next frame we'll see some. Again, just to kind of show this frame, you can see the different colors of nectar, and it's very shiny in there. So it's nice that they're filling these up, but I'm concerned that there's no eggs being laid. This has been about 2 weeks. We'll go ahead and see what's going on. Place this. And it's kind of a bitch to put it down with gloves. Everybody complains about that, and I completely understand that. We'll grab that second frame that I kind of ripped from, because I want to see how that's working, and I hope that not the rest of them are also like that too. If there's any other beekeepers that are watching, because there has been a lot of great advice on the first video, you could tell me how I could fix that, because everything was spaced properly using the spacers. How to prevent them from merging the cells together, because it looks like on this one it's merged a little bit too, and I'm ripping them apart almost. Go ahead, move nice and slow. So this is what we were looking for. That's a beauty. So if you look at those hexagonal cells, you can see that they're capped off. That is capped brood. So there are some eggs being laid, which is perfect in this cell. And we can actually see right in here, if I can try and move them a bit, there's a little bit of larva. You can see there are bees being born. This frame looks a little bit better. We can see it's not super wonky, but you can see on this side, it is. And it just fell. Let me smoke them, but they're probably irritated. They just dropped out of the hive here. But at least it gives them a chance to fix it, hopefully, now that it had just dropped off. Now I got to be careful not to step on them, so let me actually move and put this back. I'm actually going to go around the other side. I'm going to check the last one and then leave them, because they're probably very irritated with that movement. And honestly, I don't know if there was brood in that one, which would really suck. But what I think I'm going to do is just space these out a bit more so they're not conjoining.
Hey everyone, this is Alex editing the video. As you could tell, this video, the audio wasn't the greatest. Didn't realize that my microphone died. So at this point, I walked away and was filling up more sugar, talking to you guys on a microphone that I thought was on. So you didn't actually hear anything. But as you're watching now and seeing the poor angle of me filling up sugar water behind a tree, and half of this camera was looking at my ass, I'll just wrap up the video, just kind of giving a summary of some of the things that had happened and some of the things that I learned, and also some questions that I have for you guys. But overall, I was pretty happy with this visit. I do think that there was a lot less honeycomb that was being built out. Again, it really was raining for like the entire week and a half that I had them. So they've only really been using that sugar water to kind of keep them around and, you know, building out that wax. So I'm assuming that's why they're moving a little bit slower. If you guys think that they should be moving a little bit faster, let me know in the comments for those of you that are beekeepers. Additionally, I am happy to see that the queen is laying eggs, and that whole frame, which again, I'm going to get better with the angling, and I have to move some things around so that way you guys can get better view and whatnot. But the frame that had the brood was like all capped. There was a lot of larvae. If it's capped, that means that, you know, they're further on and they're going to be born somewhat soon. So I was kind of happy with that. Overall, I think it was an overall good trip. If you did hear, I did question kind of how to get them to stop doing that wonky comb where the frames get kind of melded together. They were spaced properly, so I'm not too sure why they're kind of building a wall between the frames. I don't really know how to prevent that, and honestly, I think it was a good thing that that honeycomb had fallen out, because it was very loose and wonky, and I didn't want them building underneath that layer that was on top. And honestly, that honeycomb didn't really have anything in it. I looked at it after the fact. It had a good amount of bees on it, but it was mainly a little bit of nectar and pollen that was in it, which the bees quickly just took out, and they cleared out after the fact, maybe about 10 minutes later with that. So there was just, you know, dry honeycomb on the ground. That being said, I think that that was a good idea, but I just want to know how to prevent that in the future. Again, I have them spaced properly, so I'm not too sure what else I could do. What I end up doing at the end of this video is actually shuffling the frames around, just so that way they could start building out a little bit more. I've seen some beekeepers do that. I don't know if that's ideal, but that's just something that I did. But I'd be interested in a lot of your guys' feedback. Again, this is a learning process for me, and I'm already learning a lot just from that first video off of the feedback from you guys. So essentially, I just ended up putting the hive back together, again, adding the queen excluder on top, and then giving them a bunch of sugar water once more because we have another week of cold weather and rain. So once it starts to warm up again, I'll make sure to get you guys a better video with a better audio and visuals. Until then, I'll see you.